Lena stood nervously in the docking bay, her six-fingered hands smoothing down her formal science robes for the 10th time. After 5 years studying human biology and psychology, she would finally meet one face to face. The air tasted metallic through her breathing filters as the station's artificial gravity tugged at her slender frame. "They're docking now," announced Captain Rin, the station commander. "Remember, no sudden movements." Lena nodded, her large violet eyes blinking rapidly with excitement. Cytherians like her were respected across 17 star systems for their unique bonding abilities. Through a simple touch ritual, they could form temporary symbiotic connections with almost any sentient species, sharing thoughts and emotions. These bonds helped them become the galaxy's most successful diplomats and healers. But humans were different. Something in their neurochemistry made them resistant to Cytherian bonding. This mystery had consumed Lena's research for years. The airlock hissed open. 3 humans walked through, their skin tones varying from light beige to deep brown. Lena immediately recognized Lieutenant Ta from his file. Tall with straight black hair and a serious expression. He would be her liaison for the diplomatic mission. "Welcome to Outpost Horizon," said Captain Rin. "We're honored to host Earth's delegation." After formal introductions, Tay approached Lena. "You must be the Cytherian scientist I'll be working with." "Yes." Lena's translator conveyed her enthusiasm. "I'm very happy to meet you, Lieutenant." She extended her hands, palms up with fingers spread in the traditional Cytherian greeting. A faint blue glow emanated from special pores on her fingertips, the beginning of the bonding process. Ty stared at her glowing hands with clear hesitation. "It's just a greeting," Lena explained quickly. "A surface-level connection, nothing invasive." Ty cautiously placed his hands over hers. Lena felt the familiar tingle as her bonding chemicals activated. But then, nothing. Where other species' minds would begin to connect with hers, there was only a wall of silence. Lena tried again, concentrating harder. The blue glow intensified. Ty jerked his hands back. "Whoa, that tickles." "Tickles?" Lena's translator struggled with the concept. "It shouldn't tickle. It should form a connection." She felt a flash of disappointment. The research was correct. Humans truly were resistant. "Sorry," Ta said, looking genuinely apologetic. "I was briefed about this, but experiencing it is different. Maybe we need practice." Lena appreciated his attempt to be kind. "Yes, perhaps practice. My whole life, I've never failed to form a bond on first contact." "Well, humans are known for being difficult," Ta said with a slight smile. "Maybe that's why we're still stuck in just one solar system, while you've got 17. This attempt at humor made Lena feel better. "I can try a different approach. We have several bonding methods." "Let's save that for later," Ta suggested. "I'm supposed to show you around the station first." As they walked through the corridor, Lena noticed Ty keeping a careful distance. She couldn't blame him. Humans valued their mental privacy above all else, according to her research. "This station was built 3 years ago," Ty explained as they entered the main hub. "It's our farthest outpost from Earth." Lena observed the humans working at various stations. "Do you miss your home planet?" "Sometimes," Tay admitted, "but space is where I belong." "I understand. I haven't seen my homeworld in 7 cycles," Lena said. "The stars become your home." For a moment, they shared understanding without any biological bond. Lena found this intriguing. Suddenly, a piercing alarm cut through their conversation. Red lights flashed throughout the corridor. "What's happening?" Lena asked, her translator pitching higher with concern. Tay's expression turned serious as he checked his wrist device. "Emergency alert. Something's approaching the station." He looked at Lena with sudden intensity. "We need to get to the command center. Now." Lena followed him, her scientific curiosity temporarily forgotten as they rushed through the suddenly chaotic station corridors. The emergency alert had been a false alarm, just a passing asteroid that triggered the sensors. But the incident had only increased Lena's determination to form a bond with Lieutenant Ta. How could she protect humans if she couldn't connect with them? For 3 days, Lena followed Ta through his daily routine. She watched how he interacted with other humans, noting their comfortable physical distance. Humans touched only briefly. A handshake, a pat on the shoulder. Nothing like the prolonged contact Cytherians required for bonding. "Today I must attend the weekly staff meeting," Ta told her as they walked down the corridor. "You can observe if you wish." Lena nodded eagerly. "I would like that very much." The meeting room had a large oval table where 10 humans sat discussing station operations. Lena stood quietly in the corner, watching Ta present security protocols. His confidence impressed her. Here was a chance to try another bonding technique. Cytherians could form bonds through shared air in enclosed spaces. She activated her specialized breathing sacs, releasing the subtle mix of pheromones designed to create temporary empathic bridges. Within minutes, humans began looking uncomfortable. Some sniffed the air, while others rubbed their noses. "Is there something wrong with the ventilation?" asked a female officer. "I'm getting a headache," complained another. Ta glanced at Lena, who was concentrating intensely, her throat membranes pulsing visibly. His eyes widened in realization. "Lena, are you doing something?" All eyes turned to her. Lena stopped immediately, her face flushing a deep purple with embarrassment. "I apologize," she said. "I was attempting a breathing bond. It works with most species." The station commander sighed. "Lieutenant Tay, perhaps you should explain to our guest the humans don't appreciate unknown substances in our air." Later, in the corridor, Tay tried to be gentle. "Lena, I understand this is important to you, but humans form connections differently. How can I help your species if I cannot bond?" Lena asked, genuine distress in her voice. "Maybe you don't need to," Ta suggested. "Maybe we can work together without it." But Lena was not convinced. That evening, at the formal diplomatic reception, she spotted Ambassador Kim, Earth's highest-ranking representative. Perhaps a human of such importance would be more receptive. She approached the ambassador during dinner. "May I demonstrate a Cytherian greeting? It's painless and brief." The ambassador hesitated but nodded politely. "Of course. Cultural exchange is why we're here." Lena placed her hands on the ambassador's forearms, concentrating harder than ever before. The blue glow spread up her arms as she poured energy into the attempt. Ambassador Kim jerked away. "That's quite enough. I was told this would be a simple greeting, not an invasion of privacy." "I meant no harm," Lena stammered, but the damage was done. Other humans were staring, conversations halted. Tai quickly stepped between them. "Ambassador, please forgive the misunderstanding. Cytherians consider bonding as normal as we consider conversation. It's their primary mode of communication with other species." "Well, it's not ours," the ambassador said stiffly. Later, Ta found Lena alone on the observation deck, staring at the stars. "I've offended everyone," she said quietly. "Perhaps I should return home." Ta sat beside her, leaving a respectful distance. "You know, humans do form bonds, just not the way you're trying." "How then?" "Through time, through shared experiences, through helping each other and talking and sometimes just being silent together." Ta smiled. "When I was a child, my best friend and I built a treehouse. We never managed to connect our brains, but after months of working together, we knew what the other was thinking anyway." Lena considered this. So humans bond. Emotionally rather than biologically. Exactly. And those bonds can be stronger than any biological connection. As they sat watching the stars, Lena felt something new, a comfort in Ta's presence that required no physical connection. Suddenly, the deck beneath them vibrated. The station's alarm sounded again, but different this time. A low, persistent warning. Ta's communicator beeped. His face grew serious as he read the message. "What is it?" asked Lena. "The sensors have detected a quantum anomaly heading straight for us. And this time, it's not a false alarm. The quantum storm hit the station with unexpected force. Reality itself seemed to ripple as waves of distorted space-time washed over Outpost Horizon. Lena and Ty had been examining spatial readings in the research lab when the first wave struck. All personnel to emergency stations, announced the computerized voice. Automatic bulkhead sealing in progress. Ty rushed toward the door, but was too late. Heavy metal barriers slammed down, sealing them inside the lab. "We're trapped," he said, pressing his hand against the sealed exit. Lena checked the lab's status screen. The quantum storm is disrupting all major systems. Communications are down. Her translator struggled with the fluctuating energy levels, making her voice sound mechanical and strained. The lights flickered, then dimmed to emergency levels. A crack appeared along one wall as the station's structure groaned under the invisible pressure of the storm. "Life support is failing," Ta said, reading the warning messages flashing across the lab's main console. "We're losing oxygen. The system estimates 4 hours before levels become critical." Lena sat heavily on a nearby stool, her normally vibrant purple skin now pale and dull. It wasn't just the emergency making her weak. "I must tell you something," she said quietly. "My attempts to bond with you weren't just for research." Ta looked at her with concern. "What do you mean?" "Stherians need biological bonds to survive. We evolved as symbiotic organisms." Her hands trembled slightly. "Without a bond, our bodies begin to fail after 3 weeks in isolation. I've been away from my people for 18 days. Understanding dawned on Tao's face. "You've been trying to bond with humans to stay alive." Lena nodded. "I thought I would find a way before it became serious. Stherians have always managed to bond with new species eventually. I never imagined humans would be so difficult." She looked up at him. "I didn't want to pressure you with this knowledge." Ta knelt beside her. "Why didn't you say something? We could have arranged transport back to your people." "Because this mission is too important," Lena said firmly. "The alliance between humans and Stherians could change the future of both our species. My discomfort seemed a small price." "It's more than discomfort if you're dying," Ta said. The lab shook again as another wave of quantum distortion passed through. The oxygen level indicator dropped another percentage point. "We need to fix communications," Ta said, focusing on their immediate survival. "Can you help me access the emergency transmitter?" Working together, they removed a panel from the wall, exposing a tangle of wires and circuits. Ta's engineering training and Lena's knowledge of the station's systems made them an effective team, even as the air grew thinner. "Tell me about Stherians while we work," Ta suggested, noticing how Lena's movements were becoming sluggish. "Talking will help us stay alert." Lena connected 2 wires as she spoke. "My ancestors were not individual beings. They lived in permanent neural connections with others, not just our own kind, but with different species on our world. We were healers, sharing our regenerative abilities through these connections." "Like a biological network?" Tai asked, adjusting a circuit. "Yes. Over millions of years, we evolved higher intelligence but kept our need for connection." She paused to catch her breath, the thinning oxygen affecting her more severely due to her weakened state. "When we developed space travel, we discovered we could form temporary bonds with almost any sentient species. It revolutionized interstellar diplomacy." Tan noticed her struggling. "Here, let me finish this part. You rest." "No," Lena insisted. "I need to keep active. Inactivity speeds the deterioration." She continued working alongside him. "Isolation is fatal for us, because our bodies forget how to function independently. Our organs need the chemical signals that come from bonding." The transmitter sparked to life, but only produced static. "Almost there," Tay encouraged, making another adjustment. "Humans are the first species we've encountered whose minds completely resist us," Lena said, her voice growing fainter. "It's fascinating scientifically, but personally challenging." Ta looked at her with new respect. Her persistence wasn't intrusive or strange. It was a fight for survival. And despite her own danger, she had been working to help the station all along. "We'll get through this," he promised as they continued repairing the transmitter, the oxygen levels dropping steadily around them. The emergency transmitter finally worked. They had managed to send a brief distress message, but the quantum storm was still blocking rescue attempts. According to the station's computer, oxygen levels would become dangerous within 2 hours. Lena sat on the floor, her back against the wall, conserving her energy. Todd joined her, noticing how her breathing had become shallow. "Tell me about your childhood," he said suddenly. Lena turned to him with surprise. "My childhood? Why?" "Because talking will keep us alert," Todd explained. "And because I'd like to know. Humans connect by sharing stories." Lena considered this. "I grew up in a bonding community of 12 families. From birth, I was connected to my caregivers and other children. We shared everything: feelings, knowledge, even dreams." "That sounds beautiful," Ta said, "but also very different from human childhood." "What was yours like?" Lena asked. Ta smiled. "I grew up in a coastal city. My parents were scientists, always busy with research. I spent a lot of time alone, exploring tide pools and collecting strange creatures from the sea." "Alone?" Lena couldn't hide her shock. "Weren't you afraid?" "Sometimes, but being alone taught me to think for myself, to become my own person." Tay's voice softened. "What are you most afraid of, Lena, besides our current situation?" Lena was quiet for a moment. "Failing my mission. Dying so far from home, with no one who understands me." She hesitated. "And you?" "Losing people I care about," Tay answered honestly, "and never finding my place in the universe." As oxygen levels continued to drop, they shared more stories. Todd told her about his first heartbreak, his dreams of exploring beyond the solar system, and his secret love of ancient Earth music. Lena described the beautiful joined-mind songs of her people, her struggle to become a scientist when her family wanted her to be a traditional healer, and her wonder at seeing her first alien world. "You know," Ta said, his voice growing sleepy from the thinning air, "humans form our strongest connections when we're vulnerable with each other, when we share our true selves." Lena's scientific mind was intrigued despite her weakness. "Without any biological mechanism?" "The biology is there, but it's different. Our brains release chemicals when we trust and care for someone. It changes us." Ty reached out and gently took her hand, the first time he had initiated contact. "It's a choice we make, not something automatic." Lena felt a strange warmth spreading from their joined hands. Not the blue glow of Cytherian bonding, but something unfamiliar and yet pleasant. "I think I understand," she whispered. "It's like building something together, piece by piece." "Exactly." Ta smiled, though his eyes were growing heavy. "Like that treehouse I told you about." The oxygen warning beeped again. They were down to critical levels now. Both were fighting to stay conscious. "Ta," Lena said softly, "I'm glad I met you, even if—" A loud bang interrupted her as sparks flew from the sealed door. The rescue team had arrived. Within minutes, emergency workers wearing breathing apparatus broke through and rushed to their aid. Just in time, Ta managed to say before they were separated for medical treatment. Hours later, in the station's medical bay, the Cytherian doctor assigned to the diplomatic mission examined Lena with confusion. "Your readings don't make sense," he said, checking his instruments again. "Your cellular deterioration has stopped. Some tissues are even showing regeneration." "Is that impossible?" Lena asked. "Without a biological bond, yes, it should be impossible." The doctor looked bewildered. What exactly happened in that lab? Before Lena could answer, Tay appeared at the doorway. "May I come in?" Seeing him, Lena felt that same strange warmth again, starting in her chest and spreading outward. The doctor's instruments beeped rapidly. "Fascinating," the doctor muttered. "Your body is producing bonding chemicals without an actual bond." As Ta sat beside her bed, Lena realized what was happening. Somehow, the human way of connecting, through stories, through vulnerability, through choice, had triggered something new in her Cytherian biology. "I think," she said slowly, looking at Todd with wonder, "I'm experiencing what humans call friendship." The doctor looked skeptical, but Lena knew she was right. She had formed a human-style connection, something no Cytherian had ever done before, and somehow it was keeping her alive. For 2 weeks after the quantum storm, Lena and the station's science team ran tests. They discovered something remarkable. The human neurochemicals oxytocin, serotonin, and dopamine, produced during emotional bonding, had a powerful effect on Cytherian biology. These chemicals were different from those produced by other species, but they stimulated Cytherian cellular regeneration just as effectively. "It's not a traditional bond," Lena explained to Dr. Han, the human biologist. "But my body responds to it." The effect began when Ty and I shared personal stories during the crisis. Dr. Han nodded excitedly. "Humans produce these chemicals most strongly during moments of trust and emotional vulnerability, and Cytherians are particularly sensitive to them," added the Cytherian medical officer. "We just never discovered this because we always formed biological bonds first. The emotional connection was secondary." Today, Lena stood before the assembled delegates from Earth and the Cytherian Alliance in the station's main conference room. Her purple skin glowed with health as she presented their findings. "For centuries, we believed humans were the only species resistant to Cytherian bonding," she began. "We saw this as a problem to overcome." The display behind her showed brain scans of both species, but what we discovered is that humans offer something no other species can: a purely emotional connection that sustains us without requiring traditional bonding. Ambassador Kim, who had been offended by Lena's bonding attempt weeks earlier, leaned forward with interest. "And this emotional connection is sufficient." "Not just sufficient," Lena replied. "In some ways, it's superior. Traditional bonds form instantly but fade without constant physical presence. The human-style bond builds slowly but persists even across distance." The Cytherian High Minister's hologram flickered as he asked, "What are the implications for future relations?" Ta stepped forward to join Lena. They had practiced this presentation together for days. "We propose a new kind of diplomatic partnership," he said, "one that combines human independence with Cytherian connection. We believe both our species have been searching the stars for what the other provides." Lena continued, "Humans seek connection without loss of self. Cytherians seek independence without isolation. Together, we might achieve both." The presentation concluded with their recommendation: a joint program pairing human and Cytherian diplomats who would develop these emotional bonds while exploring the galaxy together. After the delegates approved the proposal, Ta found Lena on the observation deck, watching the stars. "You did wonderfully," he said, joining her by the viewport. "We did," she corrected him with a smile. "I couldn't have done it alone." Ta laughed. "I'm still getting used to that. Humans spend so much time trying to prove we can do things by ourselves. And Cytherians spend too much time trying to connect without truly understanding each other," Lena replied. "Perhaps we need both approaches." Their assignment came through the next day. They would be the first human Cytherian diplomatic team, assigned to explore a newly discovered system where several species were establishing colonies. As they packed their equipment aboard the small exploration vessel, Lena noticed how comfortable she felt. The desperate need to bond had been replaced by something more meaningful. "I have a question," Ta said as they prepared for departure. "That first day, when you tried to bond with me, would it have worked if I wasn't resistant?" Lena considered this. Biologically, yes, but it would have been superficial, just chemicals and signals. What we have now took effort to build. She looked at him with clear eyes. "That's what makes it valuable." The ship's engines hummed to life as they took their positions on the bridge. "Ready for our first mission, partner?" Ty asked. Lena nodded, looking out at the stars ahead. What she had once seen as humanity's greatest weakness, their resistance to biological bonding, she now understood was their greatest strength. Humans chose their connections deliberately, building them with care rather than biological necessity. As their ship departed from the station, Lena felt a deep contentment. She no longer needed to desperately ask what she needed to do to bond with humans. She had discovered something better, a connection built on mutual understanding, respect, and choice. It wasn't just a new kind of bond. It was a new possibility for both their species.